John Ulzheimer is known as one of our nation's most recognized credit experts. Having worked for 28 years in the credit industry, John has become one of the most prolific speakers about credit and the go-to authority on answers to credit-related questions. Credit Countdown with John Ulzheimer.
Hello, my name is John Ulzheimer, and I am a consumer credit expert. And today's educational video, I'm going to discuss how to dispute inaccurate information on your credit reports, the process, and what you can expect when you file a dispute. So just to kind of set the baseline, if you have ever had any sort of relationship with a bank, credit union, credit card issuer, or some sort of a service provider, then you likely have either a credit report or a consumer report. And there are a lot of different companies that maintain consumer reports, but generally when we talk about credit reports, we recognize three companies as being the primary credit bureaus: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. You have the right to expect an accurate credit report. No one argues against that. You also have the right, per the Fair Credit Reporting Act, to dispute any information on your credit report that you feel is incorrect. And when you do that, then you set off a chain of events that are largely mandated under federal or state law. One of those is for the credit reporting agency to perform a reasonable investigation pursuant to your dispute. So let me explain how that all starts. So step one is you're going to want to get a copy of your credit reports, which you can do for free. You can go to annualcreditreport.com, and actually through April of 2021, you can get copies of your credit reports for free weekly if you choose. Normally you can get them once every 12 months at no cost, but the credit reporting agencies, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, have actually unlocked the system a bit and now allow for free weekly credit reports to the extent that you're kind of that voracious of a consumer of that information. So you're going to want to look at the reports, go through them with a fine-tooth comb, identify anything on them that you feel is incorrect. And that could be something as cosmetic and as meaningless as, your second former address is incorrect, or you have an employer listed that you haven't worked at in 2 decades. My employer on my credit report still says student. I haven't been a student in 3 decades. Who cares? It's not relevant to anything, so I don't even worry about it. But to the extent that you want to file disputes and challenge information on your credit reports, that's how you would do it. Step 2 is actually formally submitting the dispute. You can do this a number of ways. Most people today file their disputes online. So you just go to the credit bureau's websites and you can actually file a dispute, identify the piece of information that you believe is inaccurate. You're going to have a menu to choose from as far as why you believe it's incorrect. Either it's not yours, the balances are wrong, you were never late, etc., etc. An account was caused by fraud. So you're going to be able to essentially give information as to why you believe that information is incorrect. And this can mean, an inquiries on your credit report where you never applied, or a balance on a credit card account is incorrect, or the balance on your car loan is wrong because you paid it off a year ago. Anything like that would fall under example as something that's erroneous. Those types of things are more problematic because they do have the potential to adversely impact credit scores. So those are the types of things that you're definitely going to want to have the credit reporting agencies address and get corrected. Once you have submitted your dispute, then the credit reporting agencies will create dispute forms. And those dispute forms are called Automated Consumer Dispute Verification Forms, or ACDVs. And ACDVs are then sent to the company that furnished the information to the credit bureau. And that's usually going to be some sort of a financial services company or a debt collector. And they are going to send these forms through a communication protocol called eOscar. If you've never heard of eOscar, that's what it is. It's the connection between the credit reporting agencies and the companies that furnish information to them in the context of consumer disputes. So when the credit reporting agencies send the dispute form to the furnishing party, again, usually a financial services company or a debt collector, then they have an obligation to perform an investigation on their end pursuant to the dispute form. So the dispute form acts a little bit like a point guard in basketball. It kind of guides the movement and the actions of the team. That's the same thing that the dispute form does. And so if the dispute form indicates that the balance is wrong, they're not going to investigate whether or not the account belongs to you. Or if you're disputing a late payment, they're not going to verify the balance. So in other words, the dispute form limits the investigation to the items on the dispute form. So that's why it's important when you're filing your dispute that you do so in such a way that captures everything that you feel is incorrect about the account, or there's a possibility that that particular aspect of it won't be investigated and it will just stay the same, which may not be satisfactory to you. This process continues when the furnishing party finishes their investigative work internally and then fills out the results of their investigation on the same form, the same ACD form that they received from the credit bureaus prior. And then they will transmit that form again over eOscar back to the credit reporting agencies. And then, to use a metaphor, that becomes kind of like a work order to the credit bureaus. And then there's a variety of things that are going to happen pursuant to that response. Number one, the credit bureaus may delete the item per your request. When I say per your request, I mean per the request of the furnishing party. So the bank may say, hey, he's right, it doesn't belong to him, go ahead and delete it. So they're either going to delete the account, they're going to modify it pursuant to the investigation. So let's say the balance was wrong and now it's being corrected. That's going to be done by the credit reporting agency. So far we have deleted and then modified. Next is going to be something that's referred to as deletion because of fraud. You have different rights if something is on your credit report because of fraud. And instead of simply removing the item from your credit report, the item has to be permanently blocked. And the credit reporting agencies have a different process for this, whereby they will block an item from appearing on your credit report and also ever reappearing in the future. So there's no possible way the item can reappear someday down the road if it's been identified as truly being caused by fraud. And the fourth thing that happens quite a bit is the item is simply going to be verified as accurate, meaning that the information is correct. The furnishing party did not agree with your dispute, so they just simply verified it, and the item is simply left as is on the credit report. Once this is done, the credit reporting agencies actually do the physical manual work on the report, either the deletion or the blocking or the verifying or the modifying or whatever the work order defined to be done. And then the final step of the process is they're going to send you, the consumer, the results of the investigation. This is a right that you have under federal law. The Fair Credit Reporting Act indicates that the consumer reporting agencies must provide you with the results of their investigation. And that's it. The process is now done. So there's two things I want to point out about this. One, in the last 8 minutes of this video, the one thing you did not hear me talk about was how much this is going to cost. This process is free, so you don't have to pay the credit reporting agencies to do this for you. So you shouldn't expect them to ask you for any sort of credit card or any sort of payment information, because there is no cost for this. Number two, the Fair Credit Reporting Act gives this process 30 to 45 days to take place. However, most disputes are done within 14 days, and some are even done within a couple of days. And so even though this explanation seemed pretty voluminous, this entire process can take place very quickly and can be done in just a matter of days rather than, a month and a half like the law in some scenarios allows them to. So that's it. That's the consumer dispute resolution process. That's what you should expect if you dispute inaccurate accounts. And thank you for watching, and hope you have a great rest of your day.
For more videos and credit tips from John Ulzheimer, go to www.tradelinesupply.com.